should have made this video a bit earlier. So normally what I do every Friday, I have a boardroom where I make a video for promoting HR software and services for Opportunity.to, but I'm on vacation now, but I still got to keep up with the habit, you know. You gotta always maintain a schedule, otherwise, you know, you're gonna, miss out on opportunities. So being on this, short trip has allowed me some time to be, creative, and we have Martin and I, we've come up with a new angle at helping individuals maximize their income from opportunities. So what is the current situation of people wishing to get employed? It's actually very difficult. So what happens is, people whom are looking to improve their income, what they're typically doing is they're applying to jobs and replying to these job posts, or they themselves are doing sales. But we do know that the seeking of jobs so applying and or how do I say this? Seeking jobs and applying to them is actually a routine process. And I myself, because I'm somewhat of an amateur programmer, I've been able to make some computer scripts that have been able to maximize the job opportunities that are available to me. Like, I've been invited to over these stairs are a bit steep here, heading to the beach, 600 odd jobs, and so 600 interviews, lots of offers and things like that. That doesn't necessarily translate to actual jobs or income, but that doesn't negate the fact that if you are invited to that segment of the job hiring process, it doesn't negate the fact that opportunity is provided to you. So here, let me show you this wonderful beach. Isn't that gorgeous? So yeah, I've been to this resort for the second time. It's just absolutely gorgeous. There was a bit of a storm last night, and unfortunately some ferries actually capsized, and you can see that there might be some rubbish around, but that just comes from the storm. But otherwise, the water is still quite beautiful. Anyways, so this new angle is about increasing the process and making those opportunities available to individuals, because we all are busy in our daily lives, and it's being determined that willpower is actually, it's a finite verb. So you can't work beyond your ability and your willpower. It's very difficult to be at a job. It's very difficult to be at a job and keep applying to jobs and going to interviews while you currently have a job. There's also some social pressures in regards to loyalty. I will get into that in another conversation, but generally speaking, it's frowned upon to be looking for jobs when you are in a job. And if people find out that you are looking for opportunities or seeking to maybe leave a company, people will treat you differently. But that's besides the point. People don't have time. Even if they did have time, they feel the social pressure that they can't look for new jobs. And so this this new basically this new application will help provide these opportunities to individuals without them actually needing to spend time on it. And it comes from a compassionate perspective, because myself, I've always in the past, I shouldn't say always, I mean, I've been also given some opportunities, and I've been given chances for certain jobs, through, relationships, or, being a young kid or whatever, being given a chance. But I found that it's really difficult to have some people fall into these opportunities. And from a compassionate perspective, I think it's absolutely necessary for people to have the chance to have a bot, so to speak, or a computer script to work for these individuals, because they're just that's outside of their competency of applying to jobs, making sure they have a clean resume, and also their self-esteem. Like, imagine going to, some people just go to a single interview and they're just knocked down, and they don't know that, sometimes it takes 20 interviews to get a entry-level job, right? And there's a lot of discerning factors for why that happens. And I mean, the world isn't a fair place, right? So we will be making that available, but for the time being, you can send an email at info@Opportunity.to, or you can go to our website, Opportunity.to. That's the web app, or you can find us on the App Store, Opportunity.to space job space search. So Opportunity.to job search. We found that a lot of in certain geographies, especially Canada, there's been a lot of relatively high quality candidates applying for jobs. So we know that the professional market, in some segments, especially Canada and Ontario that matter, they're getting hollowed out. So if you're a professional, you need to allow software to work for you. So info@Opportunity.to, and we got some things in the pipeline. Can't get into specifics yet, but it's a very exciting, and I just would like to communicate that it's from a compassionate perspective. It's from my own experience, and it's really designed to help people. And a lot of people, I would imagine, they may find it intrusive, but you got to remember, people have been, I know about some services or some data acquisition firms that have been acquiring this data since 2006. This is old news. That's 12 years ago. People have been scraping Facebook for data, and they got these massive databases of all the pictures from the start of Facebook, when they didn't have those privacy filters. So I mean, you're already a commodity to being sold to. So anyone who has some skepticism about where the intention of Opportunity.to is going, and also Last HR, that's more of our professional side of the services. I would like to challenge you with that simple fact, because most people are completely ignorant of what has happened in the past, and that's one of the reasons, like being an old player in the software game, I knew about this stuff years ago, and that's why I shut down my Facebook account and all my social for 7 years before I boot them up again. 7 years. And so I use my social profile as a method of promoting businesses and services. And, you know, maybe that's a failure upon me by not, you know, sharing enough with those people who may even be interested in my personal life. And but if we're an old friend, old acquaintance, I know I've been working 7 days a week. If you want to, you know, hit me up, I'm more than willing to chat. So you can DM me, and yeah, I'll be, you know, we can catch up. You know, we can sit at the restaurant. But I'm pretty much business focused. Every single living moment, I'm working at this Opportunity.to thing, and booting up Last HR. So yeah, it's you know, it's a tough world out there. You gotta take care of yourself. And I found the pearl for job applying. And I don't personally, I don't have the best looking resume because I've been involved in the business world. So what do you say? Oh, I'm a business guy. Hard to get a job, right? Most bosses don't want to hire bosses. They're quite skeptical and fearful. So whatever. But yeah, so I've been a player in the, you know, I've been doing business for myself for so many years, and recently moved to Hong Kong, and you know, some great opportunities have been afforded to me because I've been able to execute on these computer scripts, and that's why I want to share it with you. So again, Opportunity.to for the web app. If you have any questions about our other services, info@Opportunity.to, or you can investigate some of our concierge services, Opportunity.to/services. So for me to supplement you know, additional income, I've actually become a developer salesman for Filipino real estate, because there's a lot of good cash yield on rents in that market, because I've been interested in purchasing bulk units in that market. So if you believe in something to be a good investment, then you have the incentive to actually share that information. And so I've just started. I'm waiting for the agreements to come in from the developer. Some, you know, 20 odd pages and 30 odd signatures, right? So a big stack of paper, you know, of signatures and whatnot have come from the from my side. I'm just waiting for a lot of the administration on the developer side to, you know, get finished. But that being said, because I'm you know, just an openly creative person, I haven't been able to actually qualify or determine what is a good idea until I've been more of a social and sharing person. Sorry, I gotta check out what time it is here. Yeah, I have to meet my wife. So this is sort of a last minute thing. I should have done this a lot sooner, but whatever, it's Friday. I gotta keep my commitments. So I'm just taking the last walk on the beach before we go have a beautiful lunch at this great restaurant. Actually, the resort, you can maybe, you can see it behind me, but it's all along that coastline there. That's where we are staying. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's called Mom Trees. And this development, well, actually they had opened, but I'm not sure what had happened, but I think they're doing renovations. But it's also another development. Yeah, this beach here is great. Usually, you know, Every night they go and they pick up the rubbish or whatever left on the beach, so it's pristine clean. I remember last time I was here, there was not a single piece of garbage, but there was the storm the other night. So yeah, so I'm actually an extroverted person, but for some reason, just being quite private, my own personal life, I don't know why. I mean, most people say I got a pretty interesting life. You know, I mean, I do a lot of things. I've seen a lot. I've been to like 80 odd countries, so I don't know. I've spent my early 20s. I've literally traveled for years. I've traveled. Like I spent a lot of cash in my from 18 to I think around 24, just always constantly traveling, you know, picking up you know, some high cash jobs, you know, sometimes labor or whatever. It doesn't matter, because you do work that other people aren't willing to do and you get paid for it, right? You use your back. Yeah, so I don't know, never was really social or whatever. And so that's one of my failures, was that it's not necessarily a failure, but just whatever that I learned was, if you have ideas, it's almost like a social responsibility to share that idea with others, because you yourself, you're going to, if you have a certain competency and you're not sharing your ideas, you're not able to hybridize those solutions to problems by using other people's lifetime competencies either, because you can't experience other people's lives unless they're there to listen to you. So I've kind of learned that, and that's why I've been doing these kind of these boardroom sales meetings, these for the HR software. And last week, you know, got a few people interested in sitting down to listen, and it's actually it's really helped. But going back to the developer sales, I've actually come up with a tool. So we all know that no, all real estate is not created equal. You could literally, I'm getting pulled into the sea here. So all real estate isn't equal. There's the value of real estate is based on its location, or its foot traffic, or the demographic of the individuals whom are living there, the yield on the property, right? Actually, it all comes back to yield. I mean, for every $100 you spend, how much are you getting in rent? You know, a lot of people say, oh, but how about how much the value of the property will be worth in the future? If you're that's the future cash flow. So I'm basically a value investor, so I don't know how to invest based on speculation, and that's most people, that's how they invest. They don't invest based on the rent. But anyways, that aside, so coming back to the tool, so we all know about Starbucks, okay? And Starbucks is a multinational, massive business with 27,000 plus locations, and it's growing every year, except for Europe. I think it's closed a few hundred locations, but otherwise, as a business, it pays a healthy dividend. Its balance sheet is crazy healthy. It's got great income. It's a great business, right? And it's one of the businesses that has one of the best earnings, right? It doesn't need to invest very much to actually get a good return. So from the start, they've been quite data driven, And a lot of people laugh at Starbucks. Like, there's a Starbucks on one side of the street, and then like maybe a month later they open another Starbucks. And a lot of people criticize Starbucks for doing that. And before you know it, both locations have the same foot traffic. And a lot of people don't understand why. It's because the location of the real estate or the leased property, or where they're leasing for that business, makes sense. So a lot of people in the know, there's a little bit of a hack for commercial real estate investing. You actually seek out properties that are very close to Starbucks themselves. And the higher the density of Starbucks, you will find that these people have higher disposable incomes. And most professionals, if they don't want to live, hours from where they work. So these Starbucks might be in office locations where people are going for lunch. But so we know that the value of the property is higher because people of a higher income demographic are frequenting these areas. And that also reflects on the value of the office space. So generally speaking, you go where the money is, right? And that's in the same regard when it comes to real estate investing. You want to go where the money is, so there's more money to spend. And so I bought a domain, Mapbux.com, Mapbux.com, and what this will be an investment tool for commercial investors and or individual investors to determine some investment ideas, right? And this information is used by professional investors as a way to signal that investment might be good, right? But what the real professionals, they find out where Starbucks are going to be built. But that information is actually quite difficult to find. So that's even better, because sometimes you can buy relatively unknown property that's going to be even better, because Starbucks invests tens of millions of dollars on the data about where is a good property. So I would like for you to check it out when it gets released. I still have to develop it, but anyways, Mapbux is going to be a great tool. It's going to help you find out where these great properties are, and of course we're going to make it for free and accessible to everybody. I myself have to be able to provide the best investment advice as a salesman, because any kind of agent who's not relying on tangibles to recommend certain asset purchases, they're basically liars, right? They just want to get your commission. So I don't want to be that kind of person, and that's why I found it's a personal responsibility to give that offer to the clients. That they can do their own due diligence. They don't need to necessarily just rely on word speak. Trust me because I am. That's 1980 type sales. This is a new world. Sometimes what's going on, the consumer is more informed than the actual salesman, because the salesman's too busy selling, right? And a lot of these salesmen, they're not even knowledgeable about the product anymore. They're order takers, right? Because businesses have reduced costs. So people of competence are usually running the businesses, and their sales teams are actually just order taker. So a lot of that due diligence falls on the customer. And because we're in this new age, I would like to, just really make sure that people who are getting into real estate are going to have this intelligence. And the great thing about this tool is, if you use it, it will allow you to visualize what the potential is, and it will give you some other ideas, some other angles that you can come at it with. So it's simply going to be a map with Starbucks locations, and you're going to find out the density of certain locations. You'll be able to search the address you're looking to invest into, but that's all it's going to be, and that's all it takes, because it's a very good indicator of the health of a location. And Starbucks, it doesn't sign 5-year or whatever 10-year leases on properties at a discount if they know they're not going to make cash, because data scientists have been running that organization for a long time, and they got a lot of money to be able to spend on it because they're so profitable. They make cash. They make a lot of cash, and that's one of the reasons why they're so successful, because they don't need to gamble. All they need to do is just look at the data to make the right purchasing decisions. So again, that URL, that's mapbux.com, mapbux.com, and I'm heading back to the resort now. I'm gonna miss this beach. I'm gonna head back to Hong Kong to my coffin apartment. Yeah. Well, finally can see my phone. Basically been doing a selfie vid without looking at myself, and some crazy hair, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this place. Hopefully I can get a waterfront property overlooking the ocean like this. Look at this color. Is that gorgeous? Anyways, so yeah, mapbux.com, Opportunity.to /services. And if you're good at something and you're not sharing it with the world, you're probably doing something wrong. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye bye.